It was Halloween night, and the moon hung low in the sky, casting eerie shadows across the quiet suburban neighborhood. I had always loved Halloween. The thrill of the unknown, the sweet taste of candy, and the rush of adrenaline as I dared to venture into the haunted house at the end of my street. But this Halloween would be different, for it was a night I would never forget. My name is Jake, and I was just an ordinary teenager, excited to go trick-or-treating with my friends. Dressed as a classic vampire, I joined the lively group of kids who roamed the streets, their laughter echoing through the crisp autumn air. We collected candies, told ghost stories, and reveled in the spooky atmosphere of the night. But as the evening wore on, a sense of unease began to creep over me. As we approached the corner of Elm Street, our laughter ceased, replaced by hushed whispers. A chill ran down my spine as I gazed upon a sinister sight. A flickering street lamp cast an eerie glow on a dilapidated old circus tent that had seemingly appeared out of nowhere. Its red and white stripes stood out in stark contrast to the dark, empty lot it occupied. "What's that doing here?" Emily, one of my friends, asked, her voice trembling. We hesitated, but curiosity got the better of us. We inched closer to the tent, drawn by an irresistible force. The entrance was tattered and flapping in the wind, and a foul, musty odor hung in the air. As we stepped inside, we were engulfed in darkness, save for the dim light of a single flickering lantern. The tent was empty, or so it seemed. The wind howled outside, and the tent's canvas walls creaked and moaned as if they were alive. I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. I exchanged nervous glances with my friends, their faces pale and frightened. Suddenly, a low, mocking laughter echoed through the tent. It was a laughter that sent shivers down my spine. And then from the shadows emerged a figure dressed in a grotesque clown costume. His face was painted in garish colors, and his smile was a twisted, malevolent grin. He had a mop of frizzy red hair that seemed to have a life of its own. "Welcome, my little trick-or-treaters." The clown hissed, his voice a sickeningly sweet melody. We stumbled back, our hearts pounding in terror. "Who are you?" I managed to stammer. The clown's eyes glittered with madness as he slowly approached us. "I am your worst nightmare, the master of fear, the harvester of souls. They call me Mr. Giggles." Mr. Giggles began to juggle a set of rusty knives with an unsettling ease. I could see the glint of malice in his eyes with each toss. We were trapped, and the tent seemed to have no end. Panic set in and we attempted to flee, but the entrance had vanished, leaving only the suffocating darkness behind. "Let's play a game, shall we?" Mr. Giggles grinned, his voice dripping with malevolence. I felt a cold sweat trickling down my back as he presented a macabre game of hide and seek. We were to be the hiders and he would be the seeker. If he found us, the consequences would be dire. With no other choice, we reluctantly agreed to play. As the game commenced, the tent seemed to warp and shift, creating a nightmarish maze. The dim lanterns swung ominously, casting elongated, grotesque shadows on the tent's walls. My heart raced, my breath shallow. Every rustle, every creak sent shivers down my spine as I navigated the labyrinthine passages. One by one, my friends were found by Mr. Giggles, each one vanishing with a chilling scream. The clown's laughter grew more frenzied with each discovery, and I realized with mounting horror that I was the last one left. I pressed my back against the cold, canvas wall, trying to control my ragged breathing. The seconds felt like hours as I waited, the clown's unnerving laughter echoing all around me. Then, a voice whispered in my ear, "You can't hide forever." "Little vampire." I spun around to see Mr. Giggles, his manic grin inches from my face. I stumbled backward, but there was nowhere left to run. The clown lunged at me, his knife gleaming in the dim light. In that moment, I closed my eyes and braced for the end. But the end did not come. I heard a deafening crash, followed by a blinding light that pierced through my closed eyelids. When I cautiously opened my eyes, I found myself lying on the cold ground outside the tent. The circus tent had disappeared, leaving no trace behind. I was alone, my heart still racing, my mind haunted by the horrors I had witnessed. It was a Halloween night like no other, a night that would forever haunt my dreams. And as I made my way back home, I couldn't help but wonder if Mr. Giggles would return, lurking in the shadows of the next Halloween, waiting to play his sinister games once more.